All right, we're all set for the Week 7 press conference with offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach Jake Spavital prior to Saturday's game at number 16 Utah. We'll go ahead and get questions started with Jeff Verado from Cal Sports Report.
Yeah, good morning, Jake. How you doing?
Hey, Jeff. Doing good. How are you doing?
Good. We haven't had a chance to talk to you since you guys made the quarterback change. Can you tell us what you saw on game night and what you've seen on tape of how Fernando did?
Yeah, I thought Fernando played well. Just kind of going into that decision, just kind of where we were at from a quarterback standpoint. I just thought, just from a preparation standpoint and energy standpoint, Fernando was the guy that was needed to give us a spark offensively. And I just thought his preparation going into the week and how he handled every little moving part. He knew the game plan, like from top to bottom, like all the insides and out of everything. And the team was very confident in Fernando going out there. And you go through the game and you have a little bit of concerns about how he's going to be just as his first career start, especially versus a very quality team. And I thought he handled it great. He was a little off at the beginning, had a little bit of nerves, missed about 4 throws in that really first quarter that were just a little off. But once he settled down, he was playing some pretty clean football. In that second and third quarter, I thought he did really well. He was distributing the ball. He was going through progressions, added an element of quick game and a kind of intermediate passing that we hadn't had in a while. And thought he did a good job of handing off. Like he graded out almost 100% in decision making. And, that means that the ball's going to the right spots and giving us a chance to be competitive. But I got to that fourth quarter, those 2 turnovers were detrimental to where we were at. We had a lot of momentum. We were scoring a lot of points at that point. You saw the confidence and the belief in our offense, just right behind Fernando. And really proud of how he handled it. I think the future's bright with him because he's going to continuously get better. He takes a lot of ownership, accountability, and everything. And he's a great teammate. The guys rallied around him. I thought the energy on the sidelines was the best it's been in the 6 games so far. And it was really fun watching him go out there and just communicate and work his way through the game and have a lot of energy and emotion with it.
Utah, and especially in Salt Lake, very, very difficult. They're really good defensively. What do you expect they may try to throw at him to make it hard for a guy who's got 1 game under his belt?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to make him win the game. I think they're going to load the box up. I think they're going to play man, and we're going to have to get open. He's going to have to be accurate with the football. They're a very aggressive defense, one of the top, probably top 5, top 10 defenses in the country every single year. They know what they're doing on defense is going to be a tough challenge for Fernando, and we're going to have to help him out too. We're going to have to win on the perimeter. We're going to have to establish the run game and loaded boxes, and Fernando's going to have to manage the game correctly and be accurate. So a great challenge for him ahead.
All right, next question will come from Thomas Dunn, right from California.
Good morning, Jake. In recent weeks, you guys have been starting to use Javin Thomas more in gadget plays. How do you see his role increasing and the impact he can make even as a true freshman?
Yeah, that's another element that has kind of been missing for us. And, we started throwing Javin, because he's a very dynamic player. He's young as well, but he's very mature. He rose to the occasion. He doesn't have any nerves. He goes out there and gives us an element in space, and you see the speed and you see the tempo that he plays with, and that's just something that we haven't had. And it's a good change of pace guy. I think his role is going to increase. I feel comfortable putting him in the game as well, just at the running back position and not just as a gadget guy. So you're going to see a lot more of Javin as the year goes on. Really impressed with how he's handled it, just being a true freshman and in physical games and stepping up and making plays and playing at a very fast speed. And you're going to see Javin a lot in the future.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Jake Curtis, Cal Sports Report.
Yeah, you sort of answered this before, but how do you expect Mendoza to react in that difficult environment?
Yeah, it's going to be a first true test. It's always a sellout crowd. It's extremely loud in that stadium. So the communication has got to be at a premium. He's got to make sure that we're all lined up right. We're going to communicating out everything clearly. So it start from the operational and communication and standpoint. He's got to be on point with that. Then it gets down to the execution side of it, because this is a very really good defense, a very good defense. They're going to contest everything. So you can't, like in that first quarter, he was off a little bit in his throws. So you can't do that versus this team because they score a lot of points defensively. They do a lot of pick sixes, and we got to be accurate with what we got to do. And main thing is we can't get rattled. I got to be very I got to keep my eye on him the entire game and make sure that, the pass rush isn't getting to him, that he's not getting flustered anyway, find other ways to create success, if he's going through a tough time throughout the course of the game, because this team creates a lot of adversity for quarterbacks, and this is going to be a tough challenge for him. But, this is the Pac-12 right now. It's a very solid league, and he's got to rise to the occasion.
How much would you be willing to stick with him if he does get rattled, as you say?
What was that? Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. How much would you be willing to stick with him during a game if he does get rattled?
Yeah, I just thought from, this previous game, I kept an eye on him and on the sideline, you can never tell if we threw an interception, fumbled the ball, or scored a touchdown with Fernando. It's always optimistic. He's working through it. He's going down to the O-line, the running backs, the tight ends. He's grabbing the receivers. He's always communicating, nonstop throughout the course of the game. And I have to really focus on him and like his actions in the game, because he's always going to show optimism. And that's something there's a belief behind Fernando right now that these kids, truly want to play for. And I got to make sure that, that he's not getting hit a lot. I've got to manage that as well. And you want to stick with him because he's always going to be he's always going to show a sign of belief and hope for these guys right now.
Yeah, I guess just to follow up a little bit, I guess what I was asking, like if he has a poor first half,
right,
would you be willing to just sort of stick with him? This is our guy now, or would you be willing to try something else?
No, we're going to stick with him right now. Obviously there's a lot of things that go into that. Like if he goes out there and throws 3 interceptions in the first half, there's got to be some discussions, between coach and I about making a change. But if he's going to the right places, if it's like maybe the receiver's not making a play or the protection's bad or something, you got to kind of really analyze what's going wrong, if it's completely him or if it's somebody else. But I just think Fernando it's a kind of a breath of fresh air with these guys, and they're very fired up for him. They play hard for him. So we'd love to stick with Fernando.
All right. Next question is Steve Croner, SF Clinical.
Hey, Jake, good morning. Showing how old I am. I'll preface this question by saying some guys in sports, their personality off the field or off the court is the same as it is on the field and off the court. And some guys can go on a different persona. I think of baseball closers, a guy like Al Rabosky, again, showing how old I am for the Cardinals, Dennis Eckersley with the A's. They kind of took on a different persona on the mound. And then off the mound, they're, the nicest guys in the world. Is Fernando's personality on the field the same as it is off the field?
I think he compartmentalizes it. Like when the ball's about to be snapped, there's a competitive side to him that he's going to do whatever it takes to score. He will put his body on the line. He's not afraid to get hit. He's going to go north and south. He rushed for 41 yards, which I thought was pretty impressive because there's no lateral movement with him. He's straight downhill, and he took a lot of shots and just the communication with him, like during the game, in between like kind of plays or maybe like an injury timeout and all that, you see the focus, the competitiveness of him, which I love, because he's such a great person. You've probably got a taste of that as well, just talking with him, he's an awesome person to be around. He just creates a hope and belief, as and very optimistic, but there is a competitive side to him that I appreciate, because he's going to sacrifice whatever it can. And he's opinionated too, which I appreciate that as well from a play calling standpoint, where he'll be like, I'm not vibing with that play. I like this play. Like, let's stick to that. I'm like, perfect. Cause like we have like a lot of different play options, and a lot of it's about the comfort of the QB. And there's an authority that he has, he's very authoritative when he wants like what he wants. And you see that competitive, kind of that competitive fire that is needed. So he does have another side, but when he's on the sideline, he flips the switch in terms of problem solving, communication, optimism, let's get ready for the next drive and let's go out there and give it all. It's pretty fun to watch.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, we'll go back to Jeff Corrado.
You played against an Oregon State run defense that was rated as one of the best in the country, and you had 200 plus rushing yards. How pleased were you about that performance? And who gets the credit for that? I'm wondering what you think of the offensive line, and then how does that translate to facing another run defense that's also very good?
Yeah, I thought that a lot of it has to do with Fernando being able to distribute the ball and being able to have a quick game element and spread the ball around the field a little bit more, which it's they didn't have to tee off on us knowing that the only thing that we were doing is running the football, so like we got some light boxes at times, and you saw where Jay Ott and even Afonso and Ashton Stredick, they hit some pretty good run plays, and I think a lot of that has to do is with the variety of having quick game, getting it on the perimeter, throwing perimeter screens, handing the ball off. And I thought that was just kind of how Fernando managed the game. But if you look at that offensive line, we don't put them in very crazy like situations. It's about playing hard, getting your hands on them and finishing. I thought they've been doing a really good job. I think Driscoll is the guy that leads that. I also thought the tempo element was very good, and that is all stems from the quarterback in the center. And I thought Driscoll really pressed the tempo, got him lined up, made the call, snapped it. And you could see at times where Oregon State was with the tempo was kind of affecting them. And that's what we wanted to do. We did not want them to be able to get in a solid stance and be able to stunt and twist and blitz and get after. So we tried to keep them on their toes as much as possible. So I give a lot of that credit to Driscoll and Fernando in terms of the tempo that they play with and really just kind of being able to read the defense and get it on the perimeter, spread it out. So we actually got some light boxes at times.
Obviously, Afonso had tremendous success at Montana State, but that's not the Pac-12. What did you expect from him this year? How has he been perhaps better than you thought he would be?
Man, I'd talk to him all the time. I think he's one of the toughest guys I've ever coached. He's beat up, he's tough. He's got 4,000 yards, rushing, just the longevity of running backs, that's difficult, that's a lot of wear and tear. That's a lot of hitting, and I think he's one of the tougher guys I've ever been around. And I always tell him that, I think it's amazing. I think he has the longest runs, meaning by time, I've ever seen. I think each time he hands the ball off, it takes 8 seconds for him to run a play because he's hitting a guy here and bouncing off a guy and running north and south. And I think a lot of that is just his desire to not to go down and just how tough he is as a person.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Go to Maria Koladova from Rivals.
Hi, Coach. I think towards the end of fall camp, somebody asked you if you were kind of surprised or impressed by Fernando's performance. And I think you said yes. He just got his first career start, did pretty well. How would you rate your surprise or impressed level now?
Yeah, the more you're around him, there's the more confident that you feel that you are in him. Throughout the course of the week, I'm very cautious, of, hey, do you need anything? Are you good? How are you feeling with these certain type of plays? And he took a lot of ownership in it all. He lives up here at the office. He's up here, 24/7. He's watched every single piece of tape that any team. He's probably gone back years on defensive coordinators just to get extra tape and anything that can help him in during the game. And that makes it very comforting for a play caller in general. It was very Davis Webb-esque, when I was here in 16, where he just wants to know anything and everything, and blitzes and indicators, and I think that truly helped him out. He talked about that a ton throughout the course of the game, and I think his preparation really doesn't make it very surprising because he prepares so great for these moments. But couldn't be more proud of a kid. I think he got a lot of captain votes. The team loves him. He's a guy that they're going to rally around and, just see if he can build off of this first game performance, and see what he does versus, a top five defense in the country. That's going to be a great challenge for him.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, back to Jay Curtis.
Yeah, Fernando even knew the name of the Oregon State defensive coordinator. Is that indicative of how much he studies and things?
Oh man, we were laughing at him, because in the post game press conference, he announced every offensive lineman, but he forgot Matthew Wyckoff. So Matthew Wyckoff's come on, man, as a joke, because he's just very aware. He prepares. He knows the ins and outs of everything. That's just who he is as a person. You probably heard about him, is the guy that he looks up to is Tom Brady. And if you want to talk about a guy about preparation and being all in on a certain position, that's Tom Brady. And I think Fernando is very similar to that kind of the preparation, the work ethic, and he just knows anything about everything.